Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're here, you know the drill. We take all the info, the research, everything we can find, and boil it down to the story you need to know.
Exactly. And today we're looking at a career path that's just, well, really remarkable. It's Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes, Sabrina Carpenter. Our mission today is to track her evolution because it's seriously one of the most intentional climbs in recent pop history.
Right. We've got a pretty comprehensive look at her life and career. Born 1999, Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Active since, 2008.
All the way up to now, 2024, 2025, where she's, breaking records left and right.
This isn't just about a pop star hitting it big. It's almost a case study,
Yeah.
How to navigate the industry, gain control, especially after starting so young.
That's the core of it, isn't it? We need to move past this idea of her being an overnight success, because she wasn't.
Not at all.
There's, a decade plus of groundwork. We need to figure out those key moments, those pivots that took her from a Disney Channel star with 4 albums that did okay.
Moderately successful, yeah. On Hollywood records.
To this Grammy-winning global phenomenon who's literally topping charts everywhere and setting historical records.
And that context is crucial. Think about it. Active from 2008, working, releasing music under that Disney umbrella.
Yeah.
Limited peaks, Then bam, 2021.
Switches to Island Records.
And the next 2 albums, short and sweet, Man's Best Friend. Both debut #1 on Billboard. Multiple global #1s. Grammys.
It's night and day.
It really is. It's like delayed gratification just met perfect timing and execution.
Yeah.
A real case study.
Okay, let's dive in. We have to start at the beginning to really get this. Right, so when you see how fast things have moved recently, it's easy to forget she was in the game for a long, long time before hitting the mainstream charts.
Definitely. Born in Quakertown, grew up in East Greenville, PA. Homeschooled. And this is key. Started voice lessons at 6.
6 years old. That's early.
Super early. And that family support, you can't underestimate it. The sources mentioned her dad, David Carpenter, actually built a recording studio for her at home.
Wow. Okay. So not just encouragement, but actual infrastructure.
Exactly. It tells you this was serious from the start. A supported training ground, not just, a kid singing in her bedroom.
And there's that fun family connection, too. Her and her sisters are nieces of Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah, Bart Simpson herself. Her dad is Cartwright's stepbrother.
Yeah.
So performance is kind of in the bloodline, you could say.
That makes sense. So before Disney, before the record deals, how did she start getting noticed?
Well, like a lot of artists from that era, YouTube. Around age 10, she was posting videos covering some really vocally demanding songs. Christina Aguilera, Adele, big voices.
So she was showing off those chops early.
Right, setting herself apart from, typical kid singers.
Yeah.
It showed maturity.
And that led to something more formal.
It did. In 2008, she entered this online contest, the Next Miley Cyrus Project. Out of 7,000 kids.
Wow.
She came in 3rd in 2010. Didn't win, but crucially, it helped her get management. Signed with Bill Pearlman around then.
Yeah.
So things started getting professional quite early.
Laying the groundwork.
Piece by piece. And look at the variety of early stuff she did. Her first acting gig. Law & Order. SVU in 2011.
Seriously, SVU, that's not exactly Disney Channel fare.
Right, an adult drama. And she was already getting international exposure, too. Performed over in China for this big TV festival.
So even before Disney, the team was thinking bigger picture, thinking global.
Seems like it. But yeah, the big visibility shift. That was definitely Disney. 2013, she lands the role of Maya Hart in Girl Meets World.
Huge deal. The spinoff of Boy Meets World, that show was massive for a whole generation.
And it ran for 72 episodes till 2017. Made her a household name for that demographic. She even sang the theme song with Rowan Blanchard.
So that role really cemented her image, but also set up the music side.
Absolutely. She also had a recurring voice role, Princess Vivian in Sophia the First, from 2013 to 2018. Sang songs for that too, like All You Need.
And this is where the big contract comes in.
This is it. 2014, riding that Girl Meets World wave, she signs a 5-album deal with Hollywood Records, which is owned by Disney.
5 albums. That's a commitment.
It's a huge commitment. And that contract really shapes everything for the next, 6, 7 years. It's the anchor of that whole first chapter.
It gave her a platform, the budget, I guess.
For sure. But it also, likely limited her artistic freedom quite a bit for a long time. Her music career kicks off right away under that deal. Debut single, Can't Blame a Girl for Trying, 2014.
And that one had a cool connection, right? Co-written by Meghan Trainor.
That's the one. A little bit of trivia there.
So you rounded out 2014 pretty busy then. Did the Disney Channel Do You Want to Build a Snowman cover?
Yep. lead vocals on that, and her first Christmas single, Silver Nights.
So definitely active, but very much operating within that Disney system. Safe, managed.
Exactly. Chapter 1, Tipper 1. Right, so this period, maybe 2015 to 2020, this is the grind. This is where she has to navigate being a Disney kid, but also trying to become a serious artist, all while fulfilling that 5-album contract.
Let's talk about the music first. The debut album, Eyes Wide Open, 2015, what was the sound like?
Very much of its time and label. Teen pop, definitely. Some folk pop elements in there, accessible, friendly for the Disney crowd, light.
And how did it do commercially?
Modest start. Peaked at number 43 on the Billboard 200. Sold about 12,000 copies first week.
So not bad, but not exactly setting the charts on fire.
No.
Yeah.
Which is why the sources point to the positive reviews it got, the couple of Radio Disney Music Awards it won. The success was kind of contained within that teen bubble,
Okay. Then she followed up pretty quickly. 2016, she did the Disney movie Adventures in Babysitting.
Right, starred in that remake.
And released her second album, Evolution, the same year.
Evolution did slightly better. Debuted a bit higher, number 28 on Billboard, sold around 13,000 copies. But the real story from that album was the single Thumbs.
Thumbs. That one felt like it had a bit more buzz.
It did. It eventually went platinum, RIAA certified.
Yeah.
And it hit number 1 on Billboard's Bubbling Under Hot 100 chart.
Okay, explain that Bubbling Under chart again for people. What does that mean?
It's super important context. Basically, it ranks the top songs that haven't yet made it onto the main Hot 100 chart. It's like the waiting list, the next 25. Essentially.
Yeah. So getting to number 1 there means you were really close to breaking into the big leads.
Exactly. It showed she had potential beyond the Disney audience. That song was a big step. And she backed it up with her first proper tour, the Evolution Tour, later that year.
Things started expanding in 2017 too, right?
Musically, geographically.
Yeah, she jumped on that single Hands with the Vamps and Mike Perry. Released her own single Y, which also hit the Bubbling Under chart.
Getting closer.
Still bubbling. But maybe the biggest sign she was aiming higher, opening for Ariana Grande.
Oh, wow. Which tour?
The Dangerous Woman tour. She opened for her in São Paulo. That's a big signal, right? Playing on the same stage as one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
Definitely sends a message to the industry, I belong here.
For sure. By 2018, you can really feel her pushing for a more mature, authentic sound. This brings us to the Singular era. Right, the 2-part album, Singular, Act 1 in 2018, Act 2 in 2019.
Which was apparently supposed to be just one album initially.
Yeah.
But got split. And this is where the sound really starts to change.
How so?
Much more dance pop, less of the folky stuff. She actually got 2 number 1s on the U.S. Dance Club Songs chart with Almost Love and Sue Me.
Okay, so leaning into a different market. A conscious move away from the early sound.
Definitely felt like it. And the lyrics were maturing too. Act 2 especially started exploring more personal stuff, anxiety, self-reflection, more confessional.
She was showing more depth, even if the huge commercial breakthrough hadn't happened yet.
Right. Proving she had more layers. And crucially, she wasn't just banking on music. She kept building her acting resume, but in a way that really pushed against the Disney typecasting.
Like The Hate U Give in 2018, that was a serious, acclaimed film.
Exactly. And then she starred in this indie drama, The Short History of the Long Road, in 2019. Got praise for that performance. Showed real dramatic ability.
But she balanced that with more mainstream stuff, too.
Yeah, she did those Netflix movies.
Yeah.
Tall Girl in 2019, Work It in 2020.
Work, it was fun, the dance movie.
Right. And importantly, the sources note she was an executive producer on Work It.
Okay, that's telling. Even before leaving Hollywood Records, she's already angling for more control behind the scenes.
Wants that autonomy. Wants a seat at the table. You can see it building.
Then came Broadway, early 2020, Mean Girls.
Playing Caddy Heron. Such an iconic role. Seemed like a perfect fit.
But the timing was just awful.
Brutal. She only got to do 2 performances before COVID shut down Broadway completely.
Ugh. Still, despite that setback, by the end of 2020, she'd done enough across the board, music, film, TV, to get recognized by Forbes.
Yep. Landed on their 30 under 30 list for Hollywood entertainment. Acknowledgement that she'd put in the work across multiple fields.
So that marks the end of an era, really. 4 albums delivered for Hollywood Records. Over a decade in the industry. The contract fulfilled.
The decks are cleared. City's set for Chapter 2. Okay, so this is it. The big shift. January 2021. She officially leaves the Disney system, signs with Island Records, part of Universal Music Group.
A major label move, different resources, different expectations, probably more freedom.
You'd assume so. And the impact was immediate. Her very first single for Island, Skin. It wasn't another bubbling under.
It broke through.
It broke through. Peaked at number 48 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 33 on the Global 200 chart.
Her first time on both of those huge charts.
Ever, after all those years. That right there validates the label change, doesn't it? Proof that maybe the new environment, the freedom, was unlocking something.
Okay, so Skin cracked the door open, then came the album Emails I Can't Send in 2022.
Yep, debuted at number 23 on Billboard. Which, okay, number 23 isn't number 1, but it felt different. She even said herself she hoped people felt like they knew her better after listening.
More personal, more authentic, maybe.
That was the vibe. Like this is her real voice, finally unfiltered.
The album was the statement, but wasn't it the tour that really lit the fuse?
Oh, absolutely. The Emails I Can't Send tour kicked off September 2022. And this is where the nonsense phenomenon happened.
Right, the TikTok sensation.
Exactly. The song itself was doing okay, but it went viral because of the outro. She started improvising live every night.
The ones that were kind of witty, a bit risque.
Yeah, clever, funny, often pretty sexually suggestive. Each city got its own unique outro. Fans started recording them, posting them, and it just exploded on TikTok.
And that really cemented her new image, didn't it? Sharp, funny, maybe a little provocative, totally in control.
Nailed it. It introduced that specific persona to millions of new people worldwide.
Then came the next single, Feather, from the deluxe version of Emails. Huge song, but also controversial.
Yeah, the music video caused quite a stir in 2023.
What happened?
It was filmed partly inside a real Catholic church in Brooklyn, the Blessed Virgin Mary Church. And the video itself had this darkly comedic, sort of vengeful vibe, people getting killed off in darkly funny ways.
Okay, I can see how filming that in a church might raise some eyebrows.
It definitely did. Polarized reactions, religious groups were upset. The local bishop actually removed the pastor who okayed the filming from his duties, held a special mass to, purify the church.
Wow, that's serious fallout.
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. There was an investigation into how that permission was granted, right? Some procedural stuff. And somehow, that investigation apparently uncovered information that contributed to the later indictment of the New York City mayor, Eric Adams.
Wait, what? On completely unrelated charges?
Totally unrelated corruption charges. But the trail allegedly started with the fallout from the Feather music video shoot permission. It's nuts.
Pop music video controversy leading to a mayoral indictment investigation. That's a headline.
Unbelievable chain of events.
Right.
Shows how much cultural impact she suddenly had. Her team said they had permission, and Sabrina herself reportedly quipped, "Jesus was a carpenter." Little cheeky.
While navigating all that, she gets this massive opportunity, opening for Taylor Swift.
The Eras Tour. 2023-2024. Latin America, Australia, Singapore legs. Talk about exposure.
Putting her in front of literally the biggest audiences on the planet right now.
She called it a childhood dream come true. Said the crowds were unlike anything she'd experienced. It was the perfect springboard. She even released a cover of Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble for Spotify.
So that enormous platform sets the stage perfectly for her next album, Short and Sweet, in 2024. And this is where the numbers just go into the stratosphere.
Completely historical territory. Let's start with the lead single, Espresso.
Yep.
April 2024.
That song was everywhere.
Global #1. Hit #3 on the Hot 100 here. Won the VMA for Song of the Year. And get this, second most streamed song on Spotify globally for 2024. 1.6 billion streams.
Billion with a B, that's not just a hit, that's a cultural moment.
That's world domination. Then comes Please, Please, Please in June 2024.
And that one went even higher in the U.S.
Her first U.S. #1 on the Hot 100. Her second global #1. And the chart records just started falling. She became the first female artist ever to hold spots 1 and 2 on the UK singles chart for 3 weeks straight.
That's dominant.
And the album Short and Sweet debuted straight at #1 on the Billboard 200. Sold 362,000 units first week.
Let's just pause there. Her first album sold, 12,000 first week?
Yeah, because this is almost 30 times that.
Mm-hmm.
And all 12 tracks from the album landed in the top 50 of the Hot 100. Complete saturation.
But there's that one stat that everyone talks about, the Beatles record.
Ah, yes. The truly mind-blowing one. Her third single, Taste, debuted at #2.
Okay, so
that meant she had 3 songs debut in the top 5 of the Hot 100. Espresso was already there. Please, Please, Please debuted at #2. Then Taste debuted at #2, pushing PPP to #1. This made her the first artist since the Beatles to chart their first 3 top 5 hits within a single week.
didn't sell us.
Since the Beatles. That's the kind of historical context we're talking about. It's just, wow. And those first 3 singles, they all stayed in the top 10 for 7 weeks straight. That's a record for any female artist.
Unbelievable run. And the industry recognized it too, right? Grammys?
Yep, 2025 Grammys. She won Best Pop Vocal Album for Short and Sweet and Best Pop Solo Performance for Espresso. Critical validation on top of the commercial tidal wave.
And she didn't slow down. The next album, Man's Best Friend, dropped August 2025.
And proved the success wasn't a fluke. Debuted #1 again, 366,000 units first week, even slightly higher than Short and Sweet. Highest female selling week of 2025 so far.
Lead single man-child.
Debuted straight at #1 on the Hot 100. Her second #1, but her first debut at the top spot. Just kept leveling up.
We have to talk about the cover art for Man's Best Friend, though, because that also got people talking, but in a different way.
Oh, it absolutely did. Deliberately provocative.
Yeah.
It shows her on her hands and knees, hair being grabbed by a man just out of frame while she's kind of pawing at his leg.
Yeah, that imagery is loaded.
Extremely. Divided people instantly. Some found it degrading, objectifying. Others saw it as satirical, maybe reclaiming power, playing with those tropes. Provocative art designed to spark debate.
Definitely fits that edgier, more autonomous persona she's built, not playing it safe anymore.
Not at all. And now, looking ahead, she's solidified as a major headliner. Lollapalooza 2025, doing a set with Earth, Wind and Fire, which is cool.
Yeah.
Then headlining Lola in South America in 2026. And the big one, Coachella 2026 headliner.
Coachella headliner status, that's the top tier.
It is. And the ultimate sign of being accepted into the pop elite. She's featured on the title track of the next Taylor Swift album.
The Life of a Showgirl, coming out soon.
Right. That collaboration feels significant. Like a cosign from the biggest star on the planet.
Okay, the numbers are just staggering. But let's dig into the how. Artistically, how did she pull off this transformation? It seems rooted in understanding pop history, being flexible with genre, and really committing to her own songwriting.
Definitely. Her foundation seems built on, well, pop royalty. The sources mention she grew up listening to Madonna, Britney, Mariah Carey, and especially Christina Aguilera.
Aguilera comes up a lot as an influence.
Seems like a major one. Sabrina specifically cited Aguilera's song Beautiful as helping her figure out her own voice, how to use it emotionally. That's studying the craft, you know, not just fandom. She also mentioned Rihanna for pushing boundaries.
And for songwriting.
Taylor Swift and Lorde are cited as inspirations there. Makes sense, given her confessional style. And she apparently took inspiration from Beyoncé's genre-bending work, too, like Lemonade.
Soaking it all in.
Right.
But her influences go back even further, right?
Yeah, mentions of Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Etta James, the foundational soul and R&B voices, which probably explains why she's technically classified as a soprano.
What does that mean practically for her pop sound? High range?
Typically means a higher vocal register, yeah. Often associated with lightness, agility. Though her early career maybe just labeled her teen pop, the sound has obviously evolved massively.
And that transition wasn't easy, the sources say.
No, shedding that Disney image is notoriously hard. But writers note her move into full-blown pop stardom felt slow, steady, and intentional. And the key outcome was gaining more autonomy, control over her sound and image.
And that sound now is really fluid, isn't it?
Very. It's pop at its core, but she pulls from everywhere. Folk pop, acoustic bits, country touches, electropop, house music. Since the singular albums, you really hear more dance pop, trap, hip-hop, R&B influences. She's mixing it all up.
Like Beyoncé, maybe not sticking to one lane.
Exactly. And that autonomy comes through most clearly in her songwriting.
She writes her own stuff.
Co-writes almost everything. Apparently, she was the sole writer on 2 tracks on Emails I Can't Send. She definitely sees herself as the primary songwriter, the one driving the narrative.
And she has a specific process for that.
Yeah, the sources say she often starts with the song title, decides that first, like an anchor. Then she builds the story around it, documenting her experiences, very confessionally.
That makes sense with the feel of her recent music. Very direct, often witty.
Right. And that wit is something Jack Antonoff pointed out. He produced Short and Sweet with her. He praised her ability to weave humor into pop, even comparing it to ABBA in that specific way.
High praise. ABBA knew how to mix catchy tunes with sharp, sometimes dark, lyrics.
Antonoff even mentioned on one track, Sharp as Tool. He just did the music, and she handled all the lyrics herself. That shows real trust and confirms her ownership.
And it's not just vocals and lyrics. She plays instruments, too.
Oh, yeah. That goes back to that early foundation, maybe that studio her dad built. She plays piano, bass, ukulele, guitar, drums.
Oh, multi-instrumentalist.
And she actually plays them live. You saw her with the guitar or on the piano during the Short and Sweet tour at Coachella. It really grounds her artistry. She's not just a singer, she's a complete musician. That depth counters any idea that this is just about viral moments.
It shows the substance behind the style. Okay, so her impact clearly goes way beyond the music now. To really get the full picture of where she is in 2025, we have to look at how her activism, her brand deals, and her philanthropy all kind of connect.
Right. She's built a whole ecosystem around her platform. Philanthropically, she's been involved for a while. Back in 2016, she became an ambassador for the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, visiting kids in hospitals. Did stuff with Do Something Too.
But her advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community seems really central now, doesn't it?
Very visible, very consistent. She wrote that love letter for Billboard back in 2018. And more recently, using huge stages like her 2025 VMAs performance.
What did she do there?
Performed her song Tears with dancers in drag holding signs supporting trans rights, a very clear public statement on a massive platform.
And this isn't just talk, right? She's putting money behind it, too.
Absolutely. That partnership with PLUS One for her Short and Sweet tour created the Sabrina Carpenter Fund. It focuses on mental health, animal welfare, and LGBTQ plus causes. And the sources say it raised $1 million faster than any other artist PLUS One had ever worked with.
Wow, that's serious impact. Mobilizing her fan base for donations.
And targeting specific donations, too. Like that Van Leeuwen ice cream collab she did in 2024, the espresso flavor. Half the profits went to the Ali Forney Center.
Which helps homeless LGBTQ plus youth. So, direct support.
Exactly. And politically, she was a major force in the 2024 election cycle. That partnership with Headcount.
To register voters.
Yeah. Her efforts resulted in more voter engagements, registrations, checks, etc. than any other artist that year. Over 35,000 people.
That's tangible civic impact. Using her platform beyond just entertainment.
Definitely. And commercially, she's become a huge draw for brands. Endorsed Converse, Aeropostale, Samsung, modeled for Kim Kardashian's Skims line in 2024.
Placing her right in the center of current fashion and pop culture trends.
And that fragrance line seems like a big success, too. 3 scents with Scent Beauty, Sweet Tooth, Caramel Dream, Cherry Baby. Sweet Tooth was even a Fragrance of the Year finalist. Shows her brand has a real pull.
Then there are those collabs that just scream mainstream saturation.
Like the Dunkin' Donuts drink. Sabrina's Brown Sugar Shaken Espresso. Capitalizing directly on the espresso hit.
And being in Fortnite.
Right, getting her own skin and being the theme for Fortnite Festival Season 8 in 2025. If you're integrated into Dunkin' and Fortnite, you've pretty much achieved peak cultural penetration for her demographic.
Just quickly rounding out the picture, the sources mention her personal life a bit too. Real estate.
Yeah, shows the financial success. Bought a $4.4 million place in the Hollywood Hills in 2023. Also interesting that while writing emails I can't send, she was renting an apartment in New York's financial district, maybe seeking a different vibe for that creative process.
And relationships mentioned in the sources.
Briefly, Bradley Stephen Perry, back in the Disney days, 2014-15. A connection with Shawn Mendes, noted in 2023. And then the more public relationship with actor Barry Keoghan from late 2023 to late 2024.
Okay, so that brings us pretty much up to date. We've traced the whole arc. The long, slow build through the Disney Hollywood Records years, fulfilling that 5-album deal.
The grind years.
Then the deliberate pivot to Island Records in 2021, and the absolute explosion that followed. Record-breaking hits, Grammys, headliner status.
It really is an incredible trajectory.
The big takeaway for me is just the sheer persistence, starting way back in 2008, sticking through that long contract, which, yeah, gave her visibility, but also limitations.
Right, a necessary but perhaps frustrating phase.
And then executing this perfectly timed second act years later, but this time with full artistic control. Her songwriting, playing instruments, the vocal skill, the advocacy, it all paints a picture of success that feels earned, not just lucky, achieved through patience and strategy.
And that contrast says it all, doesn't it? 12,000 units first week for album 1 versus 366,000 for album 7. That difference is the sound of autonomy paying off. She had to wait it out to become the artist she clearly wanted to be.
Which leads us to our final thought for you, the listener, something to chew on. Given that Sabrina Carpenter is now breaking chart records held by the Beatles, headlining Coachella, headlining Lollapaloozas, is her massive success just about great pop songs?
Or is it maybe more about a new kind of blueprint, a pathway for former child stars in the modern era?
Right, a path that involves sticking it out, maintaining artistic control where you can, building skills, being patient, and then leveraging viral moments strategically when the time and freedom are finally right.
The groundwork took over a decade. But that slow burn, that necessary apprenticeship, maybe that's what enabled the eventual explosion into becoming a defining pop star for her generation. It wasn't overnight. It was earned.
The power of the slow burn, followed by total autonomous control. Maybe that's the lesson here.
Something to think about. It's a model we might see more artists try to follow.
We'll leave you with that. See you on the next Deep Dive.